Yo, yo, what is good? It is Friday, March 4th. We back with another episode of the Radical Souls podcast. It's been a minute, I know. Everything's back to normal, back to our regular scheduled program between me and Mr. Ethan over here. Chris will be joining shortly. Busy man. So, we'll give him time to accommodate and get accustomed to his everyday work life here in the beautiful city yet again. Welcome back. Welcome back for real now. I know it's been a minute. Let's run the regular intro, you feel me? I know you have a lot of things going on for the Radical Soul Show. You want to dive into that real quick?
Yeah, man, the SneakerCon is just looking beautiful. Already 800 views. Sneaker exit, if you haven't seen it, 1,000 views. And we're just climbing up slowly but surely. We got the sneaker video. I'm still working on it, but it will be out very shortly. And we're just going to climb upwards. Take over the shoe world.
Word. So that'll be in the link in the description if you want to follow that over to that and subscribe to that for the sneakers. Subscribe to this for the sports. You'll hear me and Ethan talking about our favorite teams and the landscape of sports, such as today. We missed some big MLB news that happened Monday. We'll be talking about that, especially because we got some different perspectives on baseball here, so that helps a lot with this argument. Football, not going to dive too much into it. We're just waiting for the draft. We're waiting to see what happens, what are the rumors, what's going around, because a lot of things right now are just straight rumors. Like, we need to wait on some finalizing things. So it's going to be a lot of basketball, though, because a lot's been going on.
Hard to keep up with, let's just say that.
Yeah, so we're going to break it all down for everybody, give our takes, and with that being said, let's get it.
Let's get it.
So Monday was the deadline for the MLB. They're currently in a lockout, and Monday was the day that they said this is going to be the last day where if we don't reach an agreement, we'll start to cancel games. Agreement wasn't reached. And they already canceled 2 series for every team in the beginning of the year. So I think they said the Yankees are going to miss 7 games and the Mets are going to miss, I think, 5 or 6, they said, of the first few games. Haven't talked since that I've heard of. And no one's really sure when they're going to talk again because apparently that conversation went kind of bad. Look, I see it from both perspectives. I see what the owners are trying to get at, the luxury tax thing where it's like, yo, I'm not going to pay the price because homie over there don't want to spend enough money and his team is a 2-pack of ass. But I also get the other owner's perspective of, yo, we're not going to give the Yankees an opportunity to spend $500 million because we're not going to be able to sign nobody. So I get it. And then I see it from the player side too. The players are trying to fight for, people like Aaron Judge right now who is turning 30 and he's trying to get a contract. And they're like, yo, bro, you're 30. I ain't giving you that type of money. You crazy. And he's like, yo, I'm trying to get a good contract. I'm trying to stay here long term. And they're trying to work on that because a lot of teams scheme out here where they try to leave people in the minors. They'll pull them up, push them down, pull them up, push them down to, like, get the contracts worked out for them perfectly. So, yeah, those are kind of some of the things they're arguing about. I know there's other stuff involved, of course. But, Ethan, what's your take on it? Because, like I said, you're like the perfect example of what baseball's trying to attract to the sport, if you want to give some background on your baseball acumen.
I mean, it's crazy to say that, like, already they're missing, I know they said a certain amount, like 40-something, and they have to reach agreement by another time to reach 152 games if they don't make that agreement. It's just crazy. Like, we want to miss a whole baseball season because nothing's going to be reached. I mean, we talked about this last podcast. It was, a 10-minute talk, and everybody just left. So it's kind of sad that no one's really conversating that we have to make an agreement.
Yeah, like I think it was, what was it? I think it was the Saturday before the deadline or the Sunday before. They had like a 15-hour talk apparently. And they still couldn't reach anything there. But like I said, I think it has more to do owner versus owner than player versus owner when it comes to certain arguments. But yeah, what happens to people like you, the people that follow baseball but aren't watching every single game but at least know what's going on, what's going to happen with the fans?
I'm going to have to watch hockey. I'm going to have to watch, like, golf or something. I don't know.
I mean, obviously this is bad for baseball.
100%. Because you have the off-season football, basketball. We got like 2 more months left, and then you got baseball, which we're supposed to have, and we don't.
And even then, like we usually watch the first month, and then after that, you got the NBA playoffs and finals. You got the football off season. The draft, I think, is what in April.
Yep.
So there goes your competition. 'Cause I know, like you usually start in April, right? Give it like let it die out a little bit until like July when everything's kind of slowed down, and then you kind of watch like August a little bit of the teams that mean something
Yeah.
to the league, and then September, October, of course.
That middle part of the season, I'm like, eh. Like, do I really want to get into it as much? But I'm trying my best. I'm trying to be a true Mets fan, trying to watch all the games, but let's see if this year we do.
Nah, I feel you. I mean, they know people like me are gonna come back to the sport, so they can care less. But I mean, personally, I don't watch a 162. You know that that's a little much. I'll watch maybe like 100, maybe. Maybe depends what's going on. I mean, the last few years have been a little bit more because of COVID, obviously, but um, it's interesting, man. Especially because they lost that season in 2020 where they started like what July that year when we started the podcast. So hopefully something gets talked out, bro. Because
Lockdown is not it.
the lockout's not it. It's gonna be a very heavy basketball and football show for the people that don't care about the sports.
And hockey for that month off season.
Hockey, I don't know, man. I'll let you keep that. But where do you want to start with the NBA? Do you want to start with our teams? Do you want to start with the whole scope of the NBA? Should we just talk about everything that's kind of happened the last week?
Let's just talk about everything. Let's just break it down a little bit. You want to
So,
start with Harden? You want to start with?
yeah, I mean, Harden's look great. Me as a Knicks fan, I've got to see him twice with our team. That's a beautiful way to start for the
Don't say
Harden
what, because you guys had the first half, the last game.
Listen,
Don't say what.
we couldn't stop them at all. That's what I'm saying. They whooped us, not the whole team as a whole. They whooped us. Because let's not forget in that first game, it beat at 27 free throws.
Oh no, it was bad. Like Embiid had 39, Harden had like 26. That game was bad.
Yeah. So are they the best duo in the league? Is it safe to say that? Is it easy to say that?
Yeah.
I think the only person I can give them competition in all reality is Anthony Davis and LeBron when healthy, and that's a very big one.
Yeah, especially how the Lakers been playing. That's a very big if.
Should we talk Lakers now? I mean, what do you do if you're the Lakers? Because the Lakers currently are sitting, what is it, 10th in the West or 9th in the West right now? Let me pull up the standings real quick and while you talk about
Most of the
the
Clippers.
Lakers.
I mean, the Lakers should have traded Russell Westbrook when they had a chance. Now they have to wait to the offseason. I don't know.
I
Like
mean, if you
you're
want
gonna
to
lose.
argue, should they have traded for Harden? Not for Harden, for Westbrook in the beginning? Should they have just gone with the Buddy Hield trade that they were supposed to?
I think they should have, because Russell Westbrook is not looking like Russell Westbrook at all. Like he's getting embarrassed out there.
And you could talk about this a little bit more because you were a Thunder fan. Like, what's going on with Westbrook? Like, what does it look like to you?
He doesn't. I'm not gonna say he doesn't share the ball well, but when there's other stars surrounding him, is different. Like he doesn't have the ball in his hand 100% like he's used to in OKC, or even the Rockets when James Harden left. It's just different. Like he's not used to this type of atmosphere. It's the Lakers. Imagine going to Oklahoma and going to Los Angeles. Like it's a whole different environment. He's just not playing to his part. Like he's looking like a regular role player.
That's a fact. The Lakers are sitting in ninth right now.
And those Pelicans.
Yeah, ever since the CJ trade, they're looking real good, and we heard all these rumors of Zion wants to leave, and that he might need a second procedure on his ankle, and all of a sudden that's not an ankle, his foot, and all of a sudden that's, oh yeah, he's looking better. I'm like, because they winning, y'all not low.
Exactly why.
What do you think happens with Zion? Do you think he gets the trade? Do you think they give it a little more time to see what happens with Bi, McCollum, and Zion as a three?
I say you wait it out. I mean, you're looking at the Grizzlies at 3. with Ja, that was the second pick. I mean, you have to wait it out. Like they could be them if Zion was healthy.
And you said Ja. I mean, bro, Ja's been Ja, man. And you know how I feel about that.
Top five MVP right now. He's number fifth. He definitely deserves it.
Ethan, who said that John Morant should have been the number one overall pick that year?
Mr. Daniel.
Who? When did Daniel start saying this? Was it all of a sudden in March Madness that he started saying this
Oh,
stuff?
I don't know. It was before March Madness. It was before the draft. It was way before all of that, and you already knew. And you wanted the Knicks to draft him, but that second and third is just missed by one.
I mean, if you want to start talking Knicks now, granted, RJ Barrett have looked like that number 3 overall pick now.
Which everybody's happy with. Like these New York fans are very happy with it, and I think the only good play is that you guys didn't draft Zion, and I think that's the only good thing.
Granted, Zion could end up being like a Joel Embiid, where he doesn't play for the first, 2 years maybe, and then all of a sudden kicks it into overdrive. But I'm not like I said. This when I talk about John Morant, it's not even about hating on RJ. I think RJ Barrett's going to be great because you remember I said I'm not even that upset we got number 3. It could have been worse. RJ Barrett's going to be a good player. I just want a job because we don't have a point guard, and we still don't have a point guard. But and us not having a point guard is why we are currently in 12th place. And we have a 6-game losing streak. And we've lost 3. What are we? We're 3-16 in our last 19 games. And we play Phoenix tonight, who just mollywopped the Portland Trailblazers without Devin Booker and Chris Paul.
It's like another L for tonight.
Listen, the better the draft pick, the better.
Sure. Take it out.
You remember I said last year we shouldn't have been as good as we were, and it's going to end up biting us in the butt. And the Obi Toppin pick, I love Obi. If you wasn't going to trade Randall, there was no need to draft Obi. So that's another thing that we're going to be questioning for the next few years here, especially with Tyrese Halliburton looking the way he's looking in Indiana sometimes.
Looks amazing with Brogdon.
Anyways, before I start crying, Brooklyn, man, what in the hell does Brooklyn do? KD came back last night and they still lost to Miami.
They're a headache. Like they didn't have Jimmy Butler, they didn't have PJ Tucker, yet they couldn't beat the Heat. Like I don't understand.
Yo, it's that Brooklyn defense, bro. Like that defense is not good. Then you add the fact that Kyrie can't play home, which that whole rule is insane. They like honestly they only made that rule worse than what it already was. Like the fact that they're taking off the mandate team in New York. It starts March 7th, so Monday. Kyrie Irving can go into the stadium as a fan, but he can't go play in home games. He could sit in the first row right behind the Brooklyn Nets bench, but he can't sit on the bench.
Yep.
Because he's not vaccinated. Listen,
Can't step up.
This isn't about vaccinated or not vaccinated. It's either, don't let anybody in that's not vaccinated and don't let them play from away teams, or let them. Because that sounds crazy to me.
Agreed. 100% agree.
They're in 8th place, man. Right now, they'd have to play Toronto if the playoffs started today, and Kyrie Irving cannot play in Toronto.
And Toronto already smoked them twice, so it's not looking like good luck.
Look, I know the Knicks were disappointed this year, but is it safe to say the Brooklyn Nets might be the biggest disappointment of the year, depending on what ends up transpiring?
100%. The fact that Harden left, don't have Simmons until probably after they face the 76ers. Kyrie still can't play home games. Who do you have left? Steph Curry and Patty Mills? Don't have much left.
You got Andre Drummond.
He doesn't look like himself. Like he could be, but he's just not himself.
He's just good for rebounding, man. He was never a great defensive big. He just gave Brooklyn an opportunity to rebound, and I don't think Brooklyn had a problem with rebounding. They just really don't have any defense.
They did it when they had Jared Allen, but now that they have this like small front, it's like it doesn't work in my opinion.
And then you got Jared Allen looking like a monster out in Cleveland, who's in sixth place right now.
That last game, I know they lost to the Hornets, but that 18-11 game, he's about to score like 20 a game at this point.
Cleveland can only add more pieces as they can start trading away some of these young players that they might not use as much that are decent role players. You have the Boston Celtics in fifth, who out of nowhere bounced all the way up. Even though a few weeks ago we were talking about how they're like in 10th, 11th, hovering with the Knicks.
Man, that Derrick White trade was amazing. Like they needed that one person off the bench that would just catch fire. And surprisingly, those big men like Al Horford, he's been playing well.
Yeah, Al Horford's one of those like vets that just always gets it done. It's good to see him back in Boston doing his thing, even though I hate Boston with a passion. But Al Horford Dominican, so I gotta rep. The Milwaukee Bucks. What's been good with them? I know they've been very on offish lately.
I mean, I think they beat the Heat last game, I believe. Now that I think about it, so they're playing well. I mean, there's no shocker. Them being fourth, I feel like they're there at the moment. Like I feel like they need more pieces now that you see the Heat, the 76ers, and Bulls. Like I feel like those are just the three top tier teams at the moment. Um,
I could see them giving the Bulls problems. The Bulls bench is just non-existent until everybody comes back from injury, and even then, that bench was already non-existent.
I don't know that rookie Io. He's
Ayo
been
Dosunmu, somebody else that I had mentioned, but whatever. I'm just some kid on a podcast that has 100 subscribers. What do I know?
you
What
know
do I
what,
know?
sir? It's just you need to go scout for these basketball teams for the Knicks.
Yo,
So I know how it is.
I don't know. Milwaukee, like last year, I was a lot more so. I mean, maybe granted, last year they kind of were in the same realm and they kind of surprised everybody. So hopefully they can kick it into that next gear at the right time. Because I don't know, they've been very up and down as of late. Like you said, they beat Miami, but even before then, they were kind of like,
They're not trustworthy. Like same with the Celtics, same with the Cavs. Those three are just not trustworthy. Bulls, 76ers, the Heat are different.
and like I said, I'm still not even 100% all in on the Bulls because I've watched this Knicks team be up by 20 something and blow the lead. If you give Philly a 20 something point lead against the Bulls, Philly not giving that up.
They were up 9, I think, last night, and they let Trae Young just demolish them in
Absolutely
the fourth quarter.
cooked them.
Like they had no shot against one player. It was sad to watch.
Now that you mentioned the Hawks, 10th place. You see anything from them, or
Not this year.
was last
Like
year just a fluke, like a super duper fluke, like the Knicks?
not super duper fluke, but like you got Clint Capella that's now playing like himself. John Collins hurt most of the season. You traded Reddish. The rotation is weird. Like you have Danilo, you have
Hunter, Herder,
Herder. Like yeah, this that rotation is just weird.
and they're all like kind of the same players with like a different tier of defense, and Hunter's always hurt, so
It doesn't work. Like they have to make trades to make that work around Trey. Um, it just doesn't work. Those players.
word. And then, I mean, at the bottom, you have the Pacers, Pistons, Magic. Ain't much to talk about there. I'm gonna just scroll down. Phoenix Suns, no Chris Paul for the next. Well, we already lost 1 week, so the next like 5 weeks it is, I think.
Minimum. It could be up to. They might just send them for the playoffs, till playoffs.
And no Devin Booker right now, but they're still cooking. Cam Johnson, who came out of UNC, great player, great sleeper. I know you were very excited about him coming out of college when they made that pick. I remember you saying, like, I remember it. You were like, yeah, he's gonna be pretty good. Like, just give it some time because they got Mikal Bridges and Devin Booker. If he could just get his way into the rotation, he's gonna find a way.
Yep.
And
He was very solid. I mean, he's playing under Chris Paul and Devin Booker. What more better does it get?
they're 7.5 games ahead of Golden State, who has been a really weird team as of late. They're
The
3 game losing streak. I'll let you go ahead talk about them a little bit here.
fourth quarter, Curry did not shoot one field goal This is the first time in his career he's done that. That's how you know it's weird. Curry not even shooting a field goal in the fourth quarter.
They need Draymond, bro. Like Draymond is so weird, bro. Because like Draymond is like Draymond's that person that you cannot look at a stat sheet to know what type of impact he had on the game because he gets the worst stats you could imagine, but in game he is so effective in so many different ways, and they're really missing him. I think.
He's Dennis Rodman 2.0. Knows that he can affect the team. I mean, look, Klay Thompson hasn't been healthy, but Draymond defensively, he makes a very big impact.
Word. I mean, they just gotta wait, and I think Clay they've been trying to get in mad slow, so that's kind of something they're just waiting on. We'll see what happens. I'm not worried about them because I think it really just comes down to Phoenix Warriors and then it's everybody else in the West. What do you think about Memphis? I mean, what do you how do you like their chances? I don't know. I'm not really like super sold on them. I do think Memphis is a good team. Don't get it twisted, but I see them more like last year's Utah. That makes sense. Like a
Agreed.
really good young team, mad exciting to watch. Playoffs come, boom, over. None of that. I'm like,
I 100% agree. Because unless Ja goes for 52 points and Bane and Val like follow that, make Adams, if they don't follow that like point scoring, they're not gonna win games. And of course JJ too, but it's just Ja. I feel like Ja is overly carrying the team, like Don Mitch.
word. I mean, they're also waiting on Dylan Brooks, but like you said, who's gonna be like that Robin? Who's gonna be the Justice League? Like who's gonna be people that you can rely on for sure?
Exactly.
You know, Ja's gonna bring it. You know, Dylan Brooks for the most part brings it, and you know, Triple J tries to bring it. But right now they have to play Denver, and if Jamal Murray comes back this year, depending on what the situation is, that's a rough matchup in the first matchup. You have to go.
I don't see them winning. I don't see them winning against Jamal Murray, MPJ, and Jokic, and they got Aaron Gordon. Nah, I don't see them winning.
Like I said, it really just comes down to is Jamal Murray and MPJ going to be healthy? Because if they're not healthy, then yeah, I'm gonna give it to Memphis. But even then, Jokic is Jokic. He'll make somebody from Walmart look nasty once he puts them in a spot and throws them the ball, even though he's telling them, "Yo, go right there in front of everybody," and he still gets the ball to them.
It's very true. He finds anybody and everybody.
And then Utah Jazz, Dallas Mavericks be the last teams we talk about. Let's go with the look. You know me. I hope Utah gets smoked in the first round. Absolutely swept by. I don't like the Mavericks because of Kristaps. The hate ain't there no more because he ain't there. But next year that hate's gonna be we have their pick. This year I hope they smoke the Jazz if this stays the standings because I want Donovan Mitchell to be like, yo, I'm tired of this. I'm going home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world that I'm coming home. Send them Julius Randle and everything's good. What do you think about Utah and Dallas? E?
I hate Utah. I'll always hate Utah. I don't like the team at all. I don't like anything about that team other than Donovan Mitchell. Gobert wins like defensive player every year, and he's not good. Yeah, I just Donovan Mitchell. He gotta leave. He gotta leave.
Keep that energy in the offseason. That's all I'm gonna tell you, my friend.
And we all
Uh,
know we mad with just Luca. Like Dinwiddie had nice points off the bench, but it's just Luca.
I could have been told you that, buddy. The Timberwolves are just a weird team. Clippers are just injured. The Lakers are believing.
Don't sleep on the Clippers because they're on a 5 winning streak and they don't have PG and Kawhi. They somehow, some way come back. They're gonna catch fire. So that'd be scary. Just silence.
I think they'll get cooked by Minnesota if there's no PG.
If there's no PG, I
If
would
there's
say
PG, maybe.
I see them coming in the play-in and they causing Warriors or Suns some trouble.
We'll see, man. I mean,
If PG and Kawhi, let me emphasize, if PG and Kawhi comes back, if it's
so
just
it has to
PG,
be them both, not just PG.
if it's just PG, it's just to be the battle of first round curses between Chris Paul and Paul George. So one of them have to lose, but we know the Clippers are gonna lose.
Oh man. And then to wrap it up, we'll finish with the bottom of the standings. Portland, who's kind of just they're not a bad team. They're pretty good. They got some like nice young pieces, but it ain't all that.
Well, just say we'll keep that same energy in the offseason when Damian Lillard hopefully leaves or tries to leave. Pick something out of here and just packs up and go.
Listen, I'm not biased or nothing, but he could maybe come somewhere. I'm not. Just saying. Just putting it out there.
New York is forever looking for a point guard.
Anyways, let's not, bro. I'm not trying to rant right now. I'm just trying to end this on a good note. The Spurs are another team with a point guard that just saying could maybe one time possibly get a trade because this team ain't that great and they gotta maybe move some pieces. Just putting that out there.
That's their franchise. That's not happening.
Bro, the Dejounte Murray, they can get rid of him, man. They got enough pieces, and they're gonna get another high draft pick. They'll be all right.
They got rid of Derek. They made space Derek White out there. Lonnie Walker's probably next. They keep it Dejounte. All-star Dejounte.
Sacramento Kings, weird ass team that everybody was talking about that first week, and then they just listen. De'Aaron Fox wanted to stay and I want to force his way out. Suffer. No, I'm joking. I liked De'Aaron Fox heavy too. I'm not gonna do that to him. You are another witness of Daniel kind of being correct. He didn't turn out to what I thought he was gonna turn out to be. But how many people in Toronto turned out to not Toronto? Wow, Sacramento. I saw the toe and just said Toronto. Sacramento. How many people go to that team and turn out to be what they're supposed to be?
Cousins. There's so many players. Marvin Bagley, he was like the third pick or second pick before even Trey and Luka. So
Isaiah Thomas, and then he goes to the Celtics and goes absolutely ape shit.
They just don't. They either trade away talent, don't know how to draft talent. They trade away Halliburton. I don't know. That's another team I just never liked.
I don't blame you. Your team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, 50,000 picks. Just waiting to see what their plan is there.
We won. We beat the Nuggets.
And the Houston Rockets are on an 11-game losing streak. And Mr. Jalen Green, who somebody in here said they should maybe draft Evan Mobley, and not draft Jalen Green. I wonder who that could have been. Again, another draft prediction.
I wanted to.
Another draft prediction, but again, who am I? I'm just some kid that worked at Champs. Was getting his college degree. Now I'm on a podcast.
Not like the Cavs are like sixth place, It's
not like Evan Mobley might win Rookie of the Year.
Nah.
It's not like Jalen Green is what everything I kind of said he would end up being, and I wasn't sold on him, but whatever.
Even worse than what you expected, because you expect him to be somewhat nice. Now he's just there.
Listen. I'm about to show up on this, and I'll let you have a closing thought. Remember that Eagles fan that said, y'all get paid millions. I'll do that shit for free. That's me. Y'all get paid millions to draft and lose. I'll do this for $100,000 a year, not a week, a year.
Email the Knicks. But yo, y'all hiring at this couch?
They're going to look at my thing and be like, whoosh.
You take Phil Jackson.
Oh, God, no. Don't start. Please don't start. Anything you want to wrap up with?
I'm excited for playoffs. I'm just very excited to see what happens. Anybody can win. There's no favorites, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is the first time in a while that there's really no favorite. Because last year, Brooklyn was a favorite, and got the injury, so this is going to be really like a year where stay healthy.
Yep.
Just like every other year, but this year especially is going to be a stay healthy year because One injury, it's over. Like your team is done. Just wrap it up, pack it up.
Take bags. Just go back home.
Buddy, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over the weekend, and we'll be back Monday talking some more basketball.
For one more thing, Amari Cooper is going to get released to the Cowboys. It's a little crazy. We'll talk about it next time, but I hope he signs to a good team. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I mean, we can wrap up real quick. This is kind of a yes or no question.
Oh, about that. Okay.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's gonna get released. I think they're gonna try to trade and then the release. I don't think it's gonna be the release first. Like I think it's gonna take like a week or two and then maybe release him.
Maybe to the Jets. Never know.
Nah, I'm good. What's your take on that?
I mean, I don't know why the Cowboys are doing that because he worked well with CeeDee Lamb, but who knows what the Cowboys do anymore? So I'm not surprised.
Money, 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 money for somebody that disappears.
$20 million getting hurt? Yeah, get out of here.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens, bro. It's gonna be an interesting weekend, and we'll be back Monday just talking about everything that we saw over the weekend.
Yes, sir.
That being said, peace.
Peace.